Welcome to the Small Business Minute. Today's topic is complacency. For Thanksgiving, we decided to get the whole family together and rent an Airbnb. Since our family has grown significantly over the last few years with marriages and the explosion of grandchildren, we now require a much larger accommodation. For the most part, many of the larger places also come with a higher price tag. In keeping with this higher price tag, such locations typically boast a higher level of amenities. This is all good, and it is what it is. As one would expect with the higher price tag, there is an expectation that everything should be in working order and that cleanliness should be a priority, especially during this COVID era. Unfortunately, what we encountered is a case of what I refer to as lazy owner. This is something I regularly caution all business owners against. No one sets out to be a lazy owner, but it happens to most of us at one time or another. Another term that can easily be substituted for lazy owner is complacency. Complacency doesn't just happen overnight, at least not for most people. No, it creeps in over time, where little by little, we let our standards drop. Short-term complacency is easy to understand why it happens. When you consider that as entrepreneurs, we are always on, and even for the best-run companies, there are times when we have more issues to deal with than available resources. So in our haste, we might let our standards drop a little. However, once the storm has passed, conscientious owners usually up their game and reestablish their standards. Not ideal, but it happens. Then there's the issue of long-term complacency. That has the potential to damage your business reputation. This kind of complacency truly reflects the lazy owner and is rooted in arrogance. I say arrogance because the owner believes that they have a great product or service. It might be because it is popular or in demand now, so they feel they no longer have to try as hard anymore and dismiss any feedback as whining. It's been my experience that these owners used to sweat every detail about their business. They did so in order to establish themselves, so hard work is not foreign to them. In addition, their current successes reinforce that they have good instincts. Unfortunately, these good instincts can also lead an owner to reject any negative feedback because they think they are in tune. This combination can easily lull an owner into complacency. Unfortunately, they fail to realize that they must put forth some effort in order to uphold the original standards. Sadly, many let the success go to their head, and over time, they lose sight of the finer points of their business, and good enough becomes the norm. The Airbnb we selected had a very high ratings and came with a price tag of $800 a night. Not cheap, but considering the size of our gang and the promised levels of amenities, it was acceptable. In general, the property met our expectations. However, on closer observations, signs of complacency were everywhere. The following is a list of deficiencies we encountered during our 4-night stay. Number 1, numerous burnt-out light bulbs. Number 2, very weak or no Wi-Fi in many parts of the house. The listing stated working Wi-Fi. However, the router was situated in a bedroom in the far corner of the original stone farmhouse, which is not conducive for signal travel. Therefore, most of us had to use our cell phone data plans. Number 3, satellite TV not functioning. Number 4, water dispenser ice machine on the fridge was non-functioning. Number 5, remnants of leftover dry foodstuff from previous guests, including empty containers. Number 6, an instruction manual that included updated data that was placed behind older instructions. The binder was full of updated handwritten notes that conflicted with printed sheets and chalkboard information. For instance, Wi-Fi passwords, security codes, etc. Number 7, numerous hairs found in and around master bedroom and bathroom. Number 8, a severely stained mattress and no mattress cover in one of the rooms. Unfortunately, it wasn't discovered until we were checking out. Number 9, an unresponsive owner. Except for the cleanliness issues, such as the hair and the mattress cover, none of the items were deal breakers. But it goes to show a level of inattention that is not acceptable. So what should have been done? Well, number 1, the owner should be doing a quick walk-around inspection between guests after the cleaning crew has left. Doing a walk-around with a checklist would ensure the property was up to standards and that the cleaning crew was maintaining the property. I call this trust but verify. Number 2, check the instruction manual. How hard would it be to check that the instruction book was up to date without conflicting information? Handwriting in new information and scratching out the old is really not acceptable. Number 3, if the appliances don't work as expected, communicate that to the next guest or replace the unit. Number 4, look up and around to ensure the lights are functioning. Number 5, Test the Wi-Fi and satellite TV and take corrective actions without the customer having to discover subpar performance. In other words, be proactive instead of reactive. Unfortunately, this property appears to be consistently booked and therefore has effectively lulled the owner into a false sense of complacency. After checkout, Airbnb requests a review of the stay. So in a very diplomatic way, we mentioned the deficiencies. Unfortunately, the owner responded in what I like to call the not my fault syndrome, suggesting that we were somehow at fault for some of the shortcomings and that we should have notified her, etc., etc., which, by the way, we had attempted to, but got no response. So instead of humbly apologizing, the owner goes on the attack. And if you dig deep enough into the reviews of this property, you will discover that this is a recurring pattern by this owner when faced with critical or negative reviews. Frankly, it's not a great way to build relationships. So what's the lesson? I get it. We're all guilty of letting things slip occasionally, but it's what we do about it that counts. When was the last time you took a fresh look at your office, retail space, or warehouse? Is it looking a little tattered or cluttered with stuff? Are there a few more scuff marks on the wall and chipped paint than the last time you noticed? What about your vehicle? Are they clean and safe for your staff to drive? How do your employees look? Are they presentable or have their standards dropped? How do they talk to customers? Are they a little abrupt? How is their language? Is it professional or a little too casual? Even after you've asked all these questions, there's still a much bigger question to ask, and that is, how's your attitude? Because as an owner, you set the tone. Have you become a little complacent, and as a result, so have your employees? Yes, these are all little things, but they go a long way to projecting your professionalism and show your customers that you're not a lazy owner. I'm Greg Weatherden, and this has been your Small Business Minute.